Hey everybody, welcome to my latest edition of Jill and Sean See the World. Where could we have gone? Well, we used the Holland America line again, and we were on their Ooster Dam. This little penguin should give you a hint. We were down in South America. We began our journey in Santiago Chile, went down around Cape Horn, and came home from Buenos Aires, Argentina. We took an extra day, spent the night in Santiago just to be sure we made the ship. Good thing there was a plane crash in Toronto on the way out. Probably wouldn't have made it if we hadn't. Now, the good thing about the Sheraton, other than being a beautiful hotel, very comfortable, is that it is walking distance to the end of these gondolas. Now, the gondolas are a big tourist attraction. You can get to see all of Santiago from them for miles around. Now, the tickets are quite inexpensive, and they also include the cable car on the other end. Now, what's at the top of the gondolas, you ask? There is, this is the main thing. It is, an altar. There's a shrine there to Mother Mary, however you want to call it. The Pope did do a mass there at one point. But there is other things up there. There's, some restaurants, some things to do. But what is the best part of this location is right here. When you walk over the edge, it is an incredible view. You get to see all of Santiago. You get to see the mountains off in the distance. It's just really hard to capture and explain. Now, right near here, you could go down on what I call the cable car. At the bottom, you will get to kind of like a touristy area that has bars and restaurants and some arts and stuff. It was great. We just had a beer, walked around. Everything felt safe and relatively clean. As you're going to see, now there is a trail that goes up this mountain or hill or whatever you want to call it. Partway up, there's a zoo. Now, if you look up ahead of you, you will see that it would be quite the undertaking to climb up. I don't recommend it. It seemed awful tedious for a holiday adventure. Now, there is one track going up and the same track goes down. So at one point in the middle here, you get to meet and wave at the people going the opposite way of you. Nice quiet ride. It does get kind of busy because, like I said, it's a tedious hike. People don't want to take it. Well worth the like $10 to get both the gondola and the cable car. Now, for anyone who hasn't been on a cruise, this is tendering. Most of the locations, most of the ports were tender ports on this. They were small ports the ship couldn't get in. So, get on the little tender, find yourself a little seat. They're not exactly comfortable. They're not exactly luxurious, but they get the job done. They get you where you want to go. When you get there, it's usually a little dock like this. This one was in Porto Montt, which was our first port of call. Actually, was one of the larger of the, ports. To tell you the truth, where we were, it was pretty far out there. This day, we went to see the volcanoes at Oronos. Sorry if I didn't say that right. We got to hike it. It was great to see. Now, it's not an active volcano at the moment. You can see there's a little trail there. It was a bit of a hike, and it was a bit treacherous. Jill made out just fine. I, on the other hand, at some point ended up on my buttocks, as my friend Forrest would say. We'll just speed this up a little here so we can try to get through it. But you can see it's a bit of a hike, uphill and then downhill on the way back. If you have any mobility issues, it's probably not the excursion for you. But as you can see, overlooks, that is one of the fjords. I forget which, there's so many of them. There's just no way I will remember any of them, never mind all of them. It is relatively warm. Some people weren't sure what to wear. It was trying to rain on us. As you can see, it's quite hazy that day. We didn't have a lot of sunshine the first few days, but that's okay. It was still something to hold. Now, after the volcanoes, we went to The waterfalls here at Petrohu, kind of like a mini Niagara Falls. Again, it was a bit of a walk to get to them. And you can see there's the volcanoes off in the distance. There is a pair of them. And you can see all the volcanic rock and the water rushing through. Now, this place was insanely busy. I'm just going to tell you that right now. And as you can see, there they all are. Now, those were not all most of those were not cruise ship people. Those were just locals. This is the next day. This is Porto Chacabuco. Again, probably mispronounced it. When you're down there, you're going to notice it is all about nature. It is all about seeing the mountains and living in like no untouched beauty. They took us to a beautiful beach area, as you can see here. We took a little hike. There was a little look up, just overlook. It took us a few minutes, but again, it was straight up the side of a mountain. If you have any mobility issues, it's probably going to be a difficult trip for you. After a lookout, we took us to a local ranch where they prepared us lunch. Those are some of the lambs that they raised there. They cooked right over some charcoal. They've been cooking all day. I'm just going to say, I know not everybody is a fan of lamb, but it was delicious. Now, with the lamb, they always served Malbec. We found the wine in this trip particularly delicious. How do you go wrong with Chilean and Argentinian wine? She's just explaining that the lamb is prepared just with salt, pepper, and chimichurri spices. Now, once we had our lunch and wandered around a bit, they took us to another little waterfall, which was beautiful, and helped the lunch go down on our trip back to the ship. The next day was a day at sea, and we went through Glacier Alley. So along the way, they try to keep you out of the Pacific because it is not a happy ocean down there. The swells are quite intense. But along the fjords, there's this Glacier Alley. There's 7 main glaciers. I've got video of a couple of them. They are gorgeous. They're right there for you to see. Very different than Alaska. So if you've been to Alaska, it's still worth going. This is the shipwreck of the Wager. It's been there since the time of just after the war, and there's a whole book, everything. You should go read it. Now, we went. The next protocol was Puerto Arenas. We were supposed to go on a little boat trip up to an island to see penguins. Something went terribly wrong. Needless to say, we didn't go. Now, get your guides who we bought the excursion from. Did a terrific job. We got our money back. Everything's good. We still had a great day. We went to see they call it the castle, I guess, but it's a mansion of a lady who saved the town when whaling ended, and they started doing exporting sheep and textiles. They were able to save the city. Now, Puerto Arenas is one of the more major ports on the trip. Again, we tendered in. Now, there is the mansion we were just at. Now, there's this lookout that overlooks the town. It was worth the hike. Something to do for the day. Nice lookout. Now, as you can see, it's not a huge place, easily walkable. There was another museum that I didn't take any videos on. Now, there is this very interesting cemetery. And as you can see, it kind of looks like one you expect to see in New Orleans or something like that. It was worth the trip to walk around. Got lost there numerous times. Just take your time once you get there. After Punta Arenas, we went to Uruguay. Now, Uruguay is the most southern major town in the world. There is one small little community just south of here, but it is not a city, so semantics. We took a little boat trip. Now, when we got there, we were a few weeks too late to see the penguins. They had already left to go to Antarctica, but this little trip was definitely still worth the price of admission, let's say. Took us around, went to see these where the penguins sometimes would be. Now hiked these little things, but we did get to see sea lions, just numerous other seabirds. This is the lighthouse at the end of the world. Almost. There is one further down on Cape Horn, that you'll see in a minute. This is the end of the world. Welcome to Cape Horn. Cape Horn is part of the Chilean territory. It is as far south as you can go. Now, when you're on the other side of the Cape, the ocean is a lot angrier, or in our experience. This side is the Atlantic side. See that little bit of land? That is it. That is the last bit of land. Between that, there's nothing between that and Antarctica. Now, if you had a few more weeks, or another week, I suppose, you can go to Antarctica. We didn't, so we couldn't. That is the actual lighthouse at the end of the world right there, run by the Chilean Naval Station. Now, after that, there was a day at sea, and we ended up in the Falkland Islands. As you can see, we had perfect weather. Falkland Islands is about a 50-50 whether or not you can get into there. It is another tender port. If the wind is blowing the wrong way, tenders can't get in. We could get in. Now, we chose to go to Volunteer Point. Volunteer Point is a long way out, and as you can see, most of the way there is no road. Not even a dirt road. You are driving an hour and a half across a bog. Now, if you get car sick, you're not gonna have fun. Now, these are the guys that we came to see. They had gentoos, which are these guys, and they had king penguins, which you will see in a few minutes, are the guys with the yellow. 1,000% worth the trip. You can do a little buddy waddle, waddle, waddle. And here come the king penguins. There was approximately 3,000 of them up in the nesting area. Didn't take a lot of video of the nesting area just because I was too busy enjoying my experiences. Now, after the Falkland Islands, we went to Montevideo, Uruguay. Here's the Capitol building. Now, if you want a barbecue, Uruguay and Argentina are places to be. All the little shops, you just point what's on the rack and eat it. And we went to a winery that day. We were supposed to go bike riding. Got rained out. This is our day in Buenos Aires. We had booked a horseback riding at a ranch. We were treated to some traditional Spanish folk music. They had some dancing, and then they had this little bizarre horse show. I guess they feel the way they break their horses creates a little more trust, and this is how they do it. So what did I think of this trip? All in all, it was tremendous. We saw so many different lifestyles. It was very different than anything else we had been. Having compared it to Alaska, it is very different, but still kind of the same. I would highly, highly recommend it to anyone. Holland America did a great job on the ship. The excursions were quite good. Now, it is not inexpensive, I will give you that. And if you have mobility issues, you're going to have to be very careful on which excursions that you do choose. But all in all, 100% the cruise that you should consider on your next adventure.